Joining us now is Kaja Kallas, Vice President of the European Commission and the EU High Commissioner for Foreign Affairs. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. There were dire warnings from European leaders in the run-up to this meeting, including Germany's defense minister, who warned that the conflict is, and I'm going to quote him here, a catastrophe for the world's economies. He also told reporters it's not our war, something that President Trump said today was an inappropriate statement. Tell us what you are hearing.
Well, of course, we are discussing what is happening in Middle East and also what is happening in Ukraine, because these things are very much interlinked, these wars, and we want to find off-ramp for this war. Sorry about that.
No problem. Since you brought up Ukraine, let me ask you something that's being reported here in the United States by the Washington Post. They say that 3 people who are familiar with the matter say the Pentagon is considering diverting weapons that were intended for Ukraine to the Middle East. Now, the Pentagon says that the DoD would ensure that U.S. forces and its allies have what they need to fight. But if they are diverting weapons intended for Ukraine to the Middle East, what would that mean for European safety? And what do you think European leaders would have to say about it?
Well, it's definitely important that those promises that have been given to Ukraine regarding the weapons and air defense that they so desperately need are delivered to them, because if we see thousands of drones and missiles fired in the Middle East, then, you know, Ukraine has been hit by the same drones and missiles every single day. And the Russians are really targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure, which is very worrying. So definitely we can't let Ukraine slip off the table. We see these things also very much interlinked. I mean, Russia is helping Iran to target American bases and kill Americans, and they are also providing them drones to enable the attacks in the Middle East. So that's why our approach has been very clear. We need to put the pressure also on Russia. We should also see that they don't have, the revenues to fund this war and help Iran.
So Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as you know, is due to arrive at the summit tomorrow. I'm sure that they have a lot of questions. I'm sure he has a lot of things he wants to say. But beyond Ukraine, and I understand what your message will be for him and the importance of keeping those assurances, in terms of the war in Iran, what do you need to hear from Marco Rubio?
Well, we need to really hear what could be the off-ramp, how we can help also, U.S. to exit and end this war, because this war has devastating consequences for the world economy and all of us. I was just beginning of this week, I was in Africa, and they are already feeling the consequences of this war, and it's getting more serious when we go on. So really, how we can really help to end this war.
Do you see an off-ramp? Do you hear in any discussions you're hearing with any officials from the United States that there is a plan for an off-ramp?
Well, we haven't had the chance to talk to Secretary of State yet, because he hasn't arrived. But clearly, I mean, we are working with different partners in the region who are having these discussions and trying to mediate also Iran and the United States to find a diplomatic solution. And we are supporting diplomatic solution because in the end there has to be a diplomatic solution so that there would be stability in the region.
President Trump today, he just finished a briefing with his cabinet and answering questions from the media. He talked about the Iran war, and once again, repeatedly, he lashed out at NATO. Let me play a part of that for you.
They're not a match for the United States. It's small potatoes. That's why I'm so disappointed in NATO, because this was a test for NATO. They weren't there. So if there's ever a big one, which I hope there's not, but if there's ever a big one, I don't think they're going to be there. And that's not fair. And we have to remember that as a country, because we spend trillions of dollars protecting Europe, protecting the countries of NATO. They weren't there for us.
How would you respond to the president?
Well, in NATO, we have clear procedures. I mean, there's Article 4, where you start the consultations when there's attack on one member, and then there's Article 5. And as far as I know, none of this has been triggered, although the only time that Article 5 has been triggered in the past in NATO has been when the United States asked for help. And all of our countries actually went into the wars that America was in to help United States. So clearly, I mean, we have been there before. And when it comes to Middle East right now, I mean, our member states are helping the Gulf countries with air defense. They are helping, with different types of aid, really also that helps Americans to defend their bases, for example. So this is not really, I mean, these accusations are not really correct.
Let me ask you finally, if shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains disrupted, is there a point at which Europe is prepared to take different action, concrete action, military action?
Again, there has to be a diplomatic solution, the way out of this, because if you look at the map, it's clear that this is a very, very narrow strait, and there has to be a freedom of navigation. And that's why we are, really extensively trying to find a way out with the partners around the Persian Gulf as well, so that the ships can pass. But in terms of sending really ships to the area, like military ships, then right now our ships are in the Red Sea, because that trade route, that navigation route also needs to be open. And we haven't seen Houthis entering into this war yet. So if they are entering, we also need to see that there's freedom of navigation through the Red Sea.
The EU High Commissioner for Foreign Affairs, Kaja Kallas, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate it.